You know, we really are creatures of habit. We're so good at making habits that we do it without even trying. But the ones that we make like that aren't always the best ones. I found, in my life at least, that the habits I've had that have really been good for me, that have really helped me, are the ones I've been a little bit more intentional for forming. And I heard somebody say once that if you repeat something for 21 days, it'll become a habit. Well, I don't know about the 21 days, but I have found that if you're intentional about something, and the key to me is if it works for me, then I'm a little bit more encouraged to repeat it, and repeating it enough times, then it becomes more automatic and not something you have to talk yourself into or remember to do. You just do it because it works. And so I've found over time that I've got a few habits that help me to feel more peaceful. And I want to share some of those with you. Now, the first one that I think of is just to reduce clutter. I have found that a little bit of clutter tends to attract more clutter, just like a magnet. Now, I'm not perfect in this. I'm not 100% clutter-free. But I've learned some key things that if I pay attention to them, that just really helps me to feel better about stuff. And one of them is like dishes. I don't always wash everything the minute that it's ready to wash, but I've found that if at least I make sure that I don't leave any dishes dirty at night, so I can wake up in the morning and everything's nice and clean. It just, for me, that really helps me to feel more peaceful. Or folding clothes, for example. If I fold them nice and fresh out of the dryer when they're nice and warm and fluffy, they come out better anyway, but there's just something about having that pile of laundry waiting for me. I don't think it really does, but it seems like the longer it waits, the bigger it gets and the less I want to do it, and it nags me. So I take care of things as quick as I can, and it just helps me to feel like I don't have such a load on me. And I don't live by myself. So sometimes I've got clutter that's from other people too, but I've found that I feel more peaceful about it if I just take care of it myself, move things to be a little closer to where they belong at least, instead of nagging people about it, just take care of it. And so that helps me to feel a bit more peaceful. A second habit that I've formed for when I want to feel a little bit more peaceful is that I'll think of something that I've been putting off for a while and take care of it. Now, it would seem like, oh, if you just don't put things off, then you won't have to take care of them later, but you know how real life is. You can't always do everything right at the moment that you'd like to get it done, get it out of the way. And so there's always a few little things here and there that you've been putting off, and sometimes you even forget about it until maybe the moment when you want to use something and it's not ready, or that shirt that needs a button on it that, oh, I wish I could wear that. But these things that just kind of get shoved off until later. So I found that sometimes when I just need a little bit of peace, I'll challenge myself and I'll say, today I'm going to do 3 things that I've been putting off for a long time, or 5 things, or just depending on how much peace I want, right? And I'll make it as a challenge, and I will think of those things, and one after the other, I'll just take care of them. And I don't know about you, but that always just makes me feel productive and like, oh, this is great. It's a challenge and I did it. Make it into a game, right? But that really works for me. And they're usually not as big as they seem to be. Almost always you grab that job and you glue something together or fix something, a little bit of mending or something, or just organizing something that's always bothering you because it's kind of messed up. And when you do it, it always seems to go quicker than you thought it would. So, and it's a great feeling. Brings me a little bit of peace. The third habit that I've formed, it's more for when I'm feeling like a little stressed or just having a hard time being creative about something. Sometimes you might need to solve a problem, or if it's some kind of a creative thing, artistic thing, or like for me, making videos, sometimes I'll get a great idea, but it just doesn't start developing. And so I need a little bit of help, something to kind of get me going. And I found that what really works for me for that is I'll just go out and take a walk. Outside, fresh air, sunshine, hopefully, if it's not looking like rain, but go out. just get a change in your environment and walk. And I like to walk kind of fast. And I found that doing that, when I get back, I always feel either more inspired or more creative, but always less stressed. And I thought, oh, it's just a change of environment and it inspires me. But actually, I think what's doing it is the fact that when you do take a brisk walk, it gets your blood circulating better. And that actually helps the blood circulation to get more up into your brain. And we literally need more blood in our brain sometimes so we can really think. But however it works, that's fine. It works for me, might work for you too. Now, another habit that's started to be really important for me, and I really try to stick with it as much as I can, although life happens and it doesn't always work out. But that habit is to form a routine for morning and a routine for the evening. And that's turned out to be pretty important for me because in the morning, my routine is that I get up, get out of bed, and right away make my bed, so I don't have to think about it. It's just one more thing that's finished, right? And then after that, I exercise. I like to exercise at that point of the day because I can just do it in my pajamas. I don't have to change clothes to be able to exercise later on in the day. But I exercise about 12 minutes. I have a little routine that I do every day. So I exercise, and then after that, I'll fix myself a cup of coffee and grab myself a champurrada. Here in Guatemala, we have champurradas, and it's kind of like a cookie, but not quite so sweet. So I'll grab the coffee and that, and I'll sit down, and I'll read my Bible for a while, spend a little bit of time in prayer, and then I'm ready to face the day, get dressed, do whatever I need to do. But I found that having that routine in the morning, it pulls my day together in a better way, and it helps me feel more prepared to be able to face the challenges that I'm going to have. Now, it's also really important to have an evening routine. I found that this really helps me to relax and sleep better, that in the evening, it can be anything that you need, but what works for me is that I'll start off with a little bit of stretching exercise just to relax my muscles, and then I'll make myself maybe a cup of tea or something and turn the lights down a little bit and find something that I can read, or I try not to do a lot of tech in the evening because the light from that is not really good for your brain to be able to relax. So reading a book or something, just spend some time thinking, relaxing, and then go to bed. And from what I understand, having an evening routine, if it's something that you do repeat, then it signals your body that it's time to start shutting down. It's time to start getting ready for sleep. And I know that if I'm out doing stuff in the evening and I get home, even if it's a little bit late, I can't just go to bed. Because if I try to do that, then my thoughts are still just spinning around, and it can really take me a lot longer to get to sleep. So having that routine in the evening has really helped me to get better sleep so that I can wake up early in the morning and have my morning routine. Now, the last habit that I want to share with you is one that's really made a big difference for me. And that is the habit of taking one day off a week to really rest. Now, that has really helped me to find a lot of peace for my life. And I know it's not a new idea. In fact, it's a very old idea, being part of the 10 Commandments, which, of course, most people agree that 10 Commandments are good to follow. You know, we don't want to lie or steal or murder. But I think it's interesting that people had to be commanded to rest, but it's just because of the way we are wired to get things done. And it's important for us to rest, and trying to rest one day a week. Now, it's not always, for me, going to be the same day of the week because of activities and things that happen. And it's something that I'm really working with now. The challenge for me when I first started doing that was trying to think of, what do I do when I'm resting? Because we're so geared to do something. Well, you can always take a nap. I don't take a lot of naps, so I'd rather think of something I can do. But there's all these things that you would do on other days that might seem like wasting time. Well, all of a sudden, you've got a day where you don't have to worry about wasting time. Now, you might want to read a book. Could be a novel or fiction, a nonfiction book, doesn't matter. But in our family, we like to do jigsaw puzzles. We get a big old jigsaw puzzle out, maybe 500, maybe 1,000 pieces, and just pick at it for the rest of the day. In a day or two, we get it done. And to me, that just relaxes me. And that feeling of every piece that goes into that puzzle, it's, ooh, yeah. Whatever it is. I try not to spend a whole lot of time watching TV or on my phone. Sometimes I might watch a little bit, but stuff I watch is mostly like documentaries and things and some YouTube. But just things that will relax you, things that are restful. Take a walk. That's always a good idea anyway. Or spend some time visiting with friends and relax with somebody else. But spending that one day a week resting, and you'll find creative ways to do that. And when you get the habit, you'll find that you start looking forward to that day and start thinking about things that, oh, when it's my rest day, I'm going to do this and enjoy it. You might want to knit something or whatever it is that makes you relax and feel peaceful. So those are some habits that I formed in my life that have really been helpful for me to find some peace. And so the next time that you're feeling a little bit stressed or uncreative or blocked, stuck, then who knows? Why don't you just sew that button on that shirt? Or scrub those tennis shoes that needed scrubbing, or go out and take a walk. But when you do it, think about me. And I'll see you in the next video.